A man found a somewhat unusual stone and there were hairs on it. So he decided to take it home and the hair started to grow even more. What did he discover about it? How a simple stone would impact his whole life? It was super curious. Nature can be incredible, and we humans already know this, but many do not give it the true value it deserves and often only remember its existence and how important it is when some natural disaster happens, or something extremely unusual appears in the middle of it. That is exactly what happened to a man you will now meet. Shun Tai spent much of his life working and living in the center of a large moving city in China. There, he met his beautiful wife, and within a few years, they had 3 children. Over time, they grew up, going off to study abroad, and before long, they were married and having families of their own. And as Shun and his wife grew older, they were no longer happy with all the hustle and bustle of the big city center. So they decided to buy a house in a village close to nature and the sea. They wanted this to be the initial step towards a lighter and healthier old age. However, not everything is as desired or turns out as expected, and unfortunately the worst happened. Shun's wife passed away weeks before they completed the move to another house. That weighed heavily on the man's heart, and his late wife had loved every part of the new house and even the large yard on the lot. Shun was very sad because she had given him the idea of moving to that quiet village. Even suffering with all that, he decided to honor his wife's wish and moved in. New reality. What he was living was something new for someone who lived in a city with so much movement, noise, and buildings. As the months passed and trying to lessen the longing he felt for his beloved wife, he decided to try to have a hobby to pass his daily time. He knew that if he continued to grieve, he would end up dying of sadness. First, the man decided to make a small garden in the backyard, and as the days went by, he enjoyed it more and more. As he had a good amount of land in the backyard of his house, he decided to enlarge it and plant some fruit trees. From then on, he became a farmer. He acquired a new sense of life, and all the love he gave to his wife he gave to every new seed he planted and every little plant that was born. The man also enjoyed the nature around him very much, and almost every day he went to the beach, and whenever he went, he took some shells and stones to decorate the place where he lived. Little did the man know, however, that he would encounter a rather unusual creation of nature that would scare him at first sight. But that's exactly what Shun would do if he looked at his surroundings from a different perspective. Something extraordinary. One morning, Shun woke up very excited about the sunny day outside his window and decided that he would go for a short swim before tending to his crops. The man decided to take a walk first before getting into the water and walk to the side of the beach he had never been to before. The water seemed calmer and there were more shells than he managed to count, and he decided that there would be the perfect place to get some and the right place to swim a bit and enjoy that morning. Shun dove a couple of times until he hit a nearby rock, and what was before his eyes was something totally different from anything he had ever seen in his entire life. The man who that morning was ready to find some shells and stones to decorate his house did not count on finding something that would attract not only his attention, but that of many people in the world. Shun could not believe it, rubbed his eyes and looked more closely to see if it was really what he was seeing. The stone that should have been like all the others seemed to have hair on it. Yes, super curious. He didn't hear wrong. The stone Shun was holding in his hands had tufts of hair arranged on the surface of the stone. The man found it surreal and knew he should take it home. Surely all his visitors would be as stunned as he was when he saw this unusual object created by nature. Unraveling the unknown. As the days passed, something even more interesting began to happen. The hairs on the stone continued to grow little by little. This began to leave one amazed and at the same time somewhat terrified with this unbelievable situation that presented itself in front of one's eyes. He decided to unravel the enigma behind that mysterious stone. So he asked for help from his grandson who lived in a town near the village since the boy was more related to technology. The man was sure that he would surely find some information about that mysterious stone. And so Shun called Yan, who was stunned when he saw the stone with tufts of hair. The boy photographed and shared the photo on a forum of people studying rocks and stones of various kinds. He deduced that there they would undoubtedly find the answers he so desperately wanted. Shun was anxious, but had to wait 3 days until someone showed up at his house with something revealing about that stone. Shun's grandson had arranged for a researcher who was a regular at the forum and who lived in the same town as him to study that eccentric stone. Shun agreed and contacted the researcher, but he wanted a guarantee that the man would return it to him. So they made a contract confirming that he would study the stone for only 6 months. But it took the researcher less than 6 months to discover something as unusual as that hair. That researcher revealed that those hairs on the stone were not natural, but the fruit of an ancient invertebrate animal that used to live in the depths of the ocean, feeding on plankton. This species of organism were little known to scientists. And as for the hair growth that was occurring, the climatic conditions and the difference in environment to which the stone in Shun's house was subjected was affecting the vital activities of the organism of the rare species. The specialist recorded the unusual case and shared it on social media, what seemed surreal. The photo went viral and was known worldwide by millions of people. The stone was returned to Shun, who was the real owner for having found it. But the specialist told him to return the stone exactly to the place where he had found it, because that ancestral organism, which was unknown to many, could even damage both his physical integrity and that of his people. Shun thought it best not to take the risk and expose himself to risk, so with great regret he decided to return the stone to the place where he found it. Doing the right thing. Shun did the right thing because this could have ended badly. Many times in history, mankind exposed itself to risks, but humans have interfered with nature in some way. Unfortunately, this still happens. Tragically, in most cases, it is for their own benefit and usually involves a lot of money. Not caring about nature now and only extracting its resources unconsciously is not caring about your future and that of future generations. Shun had a conscience in doing what was best for the environment in which he lived, giving back to nature what rightfully belongs to nature. We leave here the message for you to put into practice. Be conscious and respect nature. Some things are hard to believe. Did you like today's video? Leave your opinion or message in the comments. Thanks for being with us. See you soon.